Hi guys, Debbie here. Welcome to my channel and to today's video. I'm super excited for this video. It's a follow-on from yesterday's video where I introduced a new indie brand, or new to me on my channel, and I'm fairly new to the market as well. They started in March. They're a UK based indie brand called Lois Cosmetics, and they have two eyeshadow palettes currently, and I did a bit of a first impressions on this one, which is the Rose Metal palette. So as I say, I'll link that video for you if you want to check out what I thought to that palette, and also I talked a little bit about the brand in that video as well. So I'm not going to do that today so much. I'm just going to go straight into what you're here for, which is first impressions of the Gone Rogue palette, which is this palette here. So the palette retails for £19.99. And the only place to obtain it is on the Lois Cosmetics website currently. The palette's in a slipcase, and then the packaging is cardboard, and then on the back you've got all of the ingredients, and it's vegan and cruelty free. And that's the colour story of the palette. It's a colourful eyeshadow lover's dream, I think. I would guess you could say it's a rainbow palette, but it's got something a little bit unique about it, I think. And I was just really excited by this colour story. I don't know if it's because it's on like a black background that kind of made it a little bit different to me. I don't know, but just the tone of the colours just look really, really special. So in this palette there's 7 mattes, there's 4 shimmers, and there is a pressed glitter. Now, if you've been here before, you know pressed glitters aren't my thing. I don't really use them ever, and it's not because I don't like them. I'm just a little bit terrified of getting glitter in my eyes. It happened to me once and it wasn't a good time, so I'm very hesitant to use them. But it's such a pretty colour, and I think with the teals and the purples I can absolutely see why it's there, and I am tempted to use it, but I'm not going to use it in this video because I've got a little bit of a plan, because some of the colours are really speaking to me. So I'm going to just scooch you in and get started. I'm not doing swatches of the palette. I don't do that. I tend to just jump straight in because I want to see how they perform on the eyes. That's what matters. So I'm going to scooch you in and we're going to start playing with these shades, and I'm going to create a bright and colourful look with this palette. I'm not bringing anything else in to blend these shades out. I'm going to hopefully blend them out just using those, and we'll see how that goes. If not, I might bring in a face powder, but I don't think I'll need to. So yeah, let's just see what we can create with this beautiful palette. So my thoughts for the look today, and to try out at least one of the shimmers, but I want to really give them mattes a run for their money and see how pigmented and blendable they are. So I'm going to try kind of a sunset kind of vibe with these 4, and then I'd like to use that green, so what's that shimmer called, Outside the Box. So I don't use a green shimmer very much, and that's so vibrant, it just spoke to me. So yeah, so that's what I plan to do today. I'm just going to keep it quite simple, I think, but just build up, as I say, a sunset vibe, and then just one shimmer all over the lids. And then I will play with the other colours in other videos. I'm definitely going to do a 3 looks 1 palette with this one because it just speaks to my heart, so I'm really excited to play with it. The colour I'm going to start the look with is Walk in My Shoes, and I'm just going to use that as a transition kind of blending out shade really. I'm using a Kaleidos makeup brush. I do love these brushes, they're some of my favourite in my collection. I've used the MAC Painterly Paint Pot as a base. Thinking about it, I'd already done my base and then decided to go in and use this palette. I probably could have benefited from using a white base with these kind of colours, but that's quite subtle compared to the shade in the pan. But I think for what I want it to do for me, which is basically to be an accent of a colour up to my brow, but not anything too crazy, I think it's going to work for me. It's a beautiful shade of yellow. It's just quite muted, I would say. Like, it's not a neon yellow, but it's a mustard yellow. I think I'm not going to need anything to blend these out because that's quite a soft wash of colour, and it's fading nicely where I'm blending it there. So I don't think, because that was my first thought when I got this palette, is whilst it's beautiful, is it going to be able to be used as a standalone palette, or am I going to need to bring anything else in? But I don't think I will. I think it's going to be fine. If you're using the purples, maybe you would need something to blend those out with, and then the shades in the Rose Metal are really beautiful for that. There's some nice pinks in there. So going in now with a smaller brush, this is the Morphe E18. I'm going to go in with the red shade Can't Compare and pat that in my crease. I'm just going to place that colour down to really get maximum payoff on the pigment, and I'm going all the way around my crease area because I want this to be a rounded shape rather than my normal wing shape that I prefer, because I really wanted to do almost like a full cut crease but in a oval kind of shape. And because I'm packing that over the yellow shade, we're getting kind of an orange, but that's okay. Just as I've started to film, there's someone revving a motorcycle outside, so if you can hear that then I'm sorry. Don't know why, because no one can go anywhere at the moment, so it's probably just checking that it will still start. Oh, that's packing on really nicely. I'm going to go in with Class Clown next, blend above that Can't Compare shade. I'm just going to take that just slightly above that shade, just to use as a blending shape. You might need a bit more of Walk in My Shoes to, which was the yellow, to blend everything out. Like a pinky orangey red rather than a true red that I've laid down initially, but there's not too much difference between Can't Compare and Class Clown. That's the only thing I would say. Quite similar. If you guys watched my Super Beauty video and saw the Hypercolour palette and the red in there, that red is so bright, like spicy bright, but this is a nice shade. I'm just not seeing the difference between the two different colours there really. I'm just going to take a bit more of that Walk in My Shoes just to further blend that out. I don't mind going all the way to my brows. May as well use the space is how I think of it. And because I'm going to be cutting the crease, I want that comparison between the two to be strong, so I wanted a nice vivid crease and transition area. There's no kick up in the pan pretty much. I think I've used more pigmented brights in my time, like the Sugar Pill ones are definitely brighter and more pigmented, and the Suva Hypercolour. But having said that, I'm loving the tone that I'm getting from these. Getting that sunset kind of vibes which I wanted, and they are easy to blend, and I found that with the Rose Metal as well. I'm going in with NYX Glitter Primer next. Generally I only cut the crease with glitter primer on the front part, but I'm going to cut it the whole way across because I want lots of space to use that green shade, which I think is such a beautiful shade and will be such a contrast with this fiery orange. And then going in with Outside the Box, I'm excited for this one. I think this looks a beautiful colour. Picking that up on a Morphe 124. Oh, that's stunning. I feel like a watermelon right now. I'm just taking my time just to fill in the shape that we've created, and it does take me a little while because of the folds in my eyes and having to pat it down. I have to be very careful. The pigment's strong on that shimmer, that is beautiful. Not too worried about what's happening in this corner here because I will put a little baby wing there and that will cover that. But I'm just going to whiz through and do the same process on the other eye. Wow, that is so neon and bright. I love that as a shimmer to be that neon. I don't think I've got anything like that in my collection at all, so really loving how that's looking. Right, for the lower lash line, could just keep it kind of the same colours underneath. I'm so tempted to try this purple, but I don't want to ruin the look. No, I think I'll just keep it to these kind of shades. Maybe that matte though, that one might look quite nice on the lower lash line, which is the shade Misfit. I might try that. So I'm going to take Misfit on a Kaleidos S5 pencil brush. That's a beautiful raspberry pink. This is going to look very vivid, I think. Wow. Yeah, well, that's a certain something. Just going to pack that on quite close to my lower lash line to start with. Yeah, I like the shade of that. It just gives us something a little bit interesting on the lower lash line rather than using the same colour that we've used in the crease, I think. Then I've got a Sosu Suzanne Jackson SK03, really flexible blending brush. Just want to blend out underneath and kind of mesh in that corner a little bit as well. It's definitely the strong point of these mattes. They blend super easily. They don't blend away to nothing though, but they blend out really, really nicely. I think I might have found my cut crease shape, guys. I've been spending so much time trying to wing it out that way. And with the folds in my eyes, that's so difficult. But this actually looks quite dramatic. I like it. Okay, so in my waterline, I've just gone in with Post Punk by Urban Decay. Just to give like a little flash of neon in that waterline. I want a little bit of a highlight in my inner corner. And there's not really anything in the palette to do that with. So I'm going to go in with Laser Glazer by Kaleidos. I'm just going to spray that. I think I could have taken the outside the box shade around, but I think this is just a little bit more highlighty and reflective than the shade on my lid. The shade's more neon, whereas this is more like of a highlighter shade. And I'm going to bring it down kind of like it's sort of shattered and kind of like splayed out a little bit. Okay, so that's the eyes to this point. Just going to hop off camera for wing liner and a lip, and I'll be right back with you to show you the finished look for this one and to give you my thoughts on the shades I've used and kind of my first impressions of the palette. Okay guys, so here's the finished look. And I finished off the look with House of Lashes Iconic Lashes. Terrible application, but they're on and I think they really complete the look, and just seeing that flash of that green neon shimmer as I'm blinking there, just really think it just really suits the whole vibe having lashes with that. And lipstick I've paired with the look is an Anastasia liquid lip. It's a new purchase for me. I bought the Coral bundle, like there's 4 shades of coral lipstick in that set, and this one is red coral, and couldn't say that I recommend this lipstick. It's had about 6 coats to get it to this point, but it's a really vivid, beautiful coral colour. It's just so patchy, but I think it suits the look anyway. But what we're here for though is my thoughts on the palette. So let's have a rundown of the shades that I've used then. So I think you already know that shade outside of the box, which is all over my lids, it's just stunning. Absolutely adore that shade. I've never come across such a neon shimmer in all my days. It's just so beautiful. I think the shade Walk in My Shoes, it's quite muted, kind of one of those mustardy sort of yellows. You can definitely see it where I've faded like that coral shade out, and it is pretty, but it's not as vibrant a shade as perhaps I might have thought it would be. Maybe that's a positive though, because there's so many brights in this palette. The shade Can't Compare, the red, and the shades Class Clown, I think are too similar to one another to both warrant their place in the palette, if I'm honest. They are very different when you look at them in the pan. Like the Can't Compare looks like a vivid red, and then Class Clown is more of a pinky red. On the eyes though, they both kind of had a very similar vibe to them, and I think I've got better true reds in my collection than that. But I do like the shade of that Class Clown in particular. I just wish that red was a bit deeper and a bit more of a red, you know, like a true red. The shade Misfit I've used on my lower lash line, beautiful. I thought that's a beautiful shade of like a mulberry pinky kind of shade. Again, quite unique for my collection, and I just thought it's really added a little pop on that lower lash line. So they're the only shades I've used in this look. As I say, the standout for me was definitely the shimmer, the green shimmer there, so the shade Outside the Box. Thought that was absolutely beautiful. So I'm eager to play with the other shimmers, particularly the bright pinks, so Unapologetic. I think that's going to have a similar vibe. I would say in here, all of the shimmers, so up to 4 shimmers, I think they look to have the same formula as one another. I might be wrong, but you know, just on looking at them here, I think they look pressed the same and look to be the same. So I say the only difference is there's a pressed glitter in here, but of the standard shimmers I think they're all the same formula, so I'm excited to use those. I think they're going to be beautiful. So as I say, I'm definitely going to be playing with this more and doing a 3 looks 1 palette, but that's my first impressions. As I say, I think the shimmer is a standout. I think the mattes blend beautifully together. Just wish that red was a bit more of a truer red, in the same vein as the one that's in the Suva Hypercolor palette or Love Plus by Sugarpill, which is the gold standard of reds in my opinion. But I'm very fussy on red because red is my favourite shade of eyeshadow to wear, so very critical of red, and I like it to be a true vivid red and not a orangey red or a pinky red, if that makes sense. But otherwise, really enjoying the palette so far. I love the colour story, can't wait to play with it some more, and I think actually for £19.99 you're getting some really good quality eyeshadows there, and it's the same impression that I had of the Rose Metal. You know, for the price you're getting an incredible product. And you know, just for the shimmers alone, if they're as good as this green shimmer, then I'm going to be a happy bunny. And I think that, as I say, the mattes are buttery and blendable as well, so they complement those shimmers really well. So that's my thoughts, guys. Are you going to be picking up the Gone Rogue palette, do you think? Or have you picked up the Rose Metal? I'd love to know. What do you think of the look? Would you wear it, or is it too bold for you? I'm feeling mega fierce in this one, and I love these kind of tones, like the orangey kind of brights are really my kind of vibe anyway. But had so much fun filming this one. Thank you so much for watching. If you're not subscribed to my channel and you want to be, then I'd love to have you. As I say, I'm going to be doing a 3 looks 1 palette with both the Rose Metal and with the Gone Rogue. So if you're interested to see more of my thoughts on these palettes and you don't want to miss out, then subscribe and hit that notification bell. But other than that, guys, I hope you're having a lovely day or night wherever you are. Hope you're keeping safe and well, and I'll catch you in tomorrow's video. Bye.